We're here with Linda from the Best Friends Animal Society, who's going to tell us a little bit about the organization. Thank you for talking to Purr and Tell, the show about cats, Linda.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now tell us a little bit about the Best Friends.
Best Friends Animal Society started about 30 years ago. They've been at their current location for 27 years. It was a group of 30 people from England and from the United States who got together, and they started out in Arizona as a small organization and grew to a size, I think, that surprised them. They didn't realize there were so many homeless animals.
And that was the initial purpose, to rescue homeless animals or end euthanasia?
Yes, it was to rescue animals and to end the euthanasia in the shelters of healthy adoptable animals, which at that point in time I think was around 15 million a year. It's now currently down to about 4 or 5 million, so that's really tremendous progress. So they grew to a larger size, and then they found some land in Utah and moved the sanctuary up there and have been there ever since.
Now tell us a little bit about the sanctuary.
Sanctuary covers about 33,000 acres, and all the different animal areas are, located in various parts of Angel Canyon, which is a beautiful place. We have horses, pigs, parrots, cats, dogs, bunnies, and each of them has their own area.
And how do animals come into the sanctuary?
They can come from individuals, but primarily groups, rescues, shelters. We try and reach out to those people to, give them a place to go with either the hard-to-place animals, I guess I'll say.
So it could be behavioral issues or medical issues?
Primarily it's behavioral and medical. There are just cases where, in overpopulation, somebody has too many dogs or too many cats in one situation, so we'll take in some of those as well.
And then there's events like this that the organization sponsors.
Yes. This event is one of our super adoptions. I believe they started that out in Los Angeles when they first started them. And here what we try and do is get a hold of all the local groups and rescues and give them a venue to showcase their animals, because being in a small bricks and mortar shelter, they don't have the resources, the staffing, the volunteers to be able to do that. So Best Friends as a national organization can provide that opportunity to give them the space, pull everybody together, and hopefully adopt out all their animals.
So you're in charge of the Northeast?
I am a representative in the Northeast, yes.
And you've been up here in Westchester for a couple of years?
I live in Vermont, and actually I've been there for 2 years now. I lived out in Utah for a couple of years at the sanctuary, so got to know that firsthand, and came down here last year for the Westchester event, which was our first one, and this is our second one, and it's going great.
And there are people from all over the tri-state area that come to this event?
Oh, absolutely. New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, and actually in the dog area we have a couple groups that came all the way from Oklahoma and Georgia.
Mm-hmm. And if people, well, before I get to that, there's a cat that you wanted to tell us about, and we can go over to the cage and talk about that cat.
That would be great.
Okay, great. Let's go.
Okay.
Now we're here with a very special cat that Linda's going to talk about. Who do we have here?
We have Spotty from the Montclair Animal Shelter. And Spotty is a 13-year-old cat, which everybody considers to be a senior. She's a wonderful cat, but her story is that she lived with a woman for 13 years, and she ended up going into a nursing home. And unfortunately, the nursing home, as many do, don't accept pets. So the family couldn't take her in, so they brought her to the Montclair shelter. Her first week that she was there, she was completely shut down. She wasn't eating, she wasn't functioning, she was just huddled. So the volunteers in the shelter, they're great people, worked with her and hand-fed her for the following week to encourage her to eat. And then she started to eat, and they brought her to the venue today.
And it's probably a more common thing now that people go into nursing homes and...
It is, and that's a really difficult situation. That's one of the most common stories that we hear. With this economy, there's a lot of foreclosures, but also when people pass away or go into a nursing home, they don't have a plan for their animals. So we try and encourage people to make a plan for their animals too, because not always can your family take them in.
Now, it's lucky she found an adopted family today.
She did. So the good news is that she's going home today to a home, and she'll live out the rest of her years being loved by somebody else. So it's a very happy ending.
That's nice. And she's a little camera shy today.
She looks to be a little.
Oh, there you go.
There's little Spotty.
Oh, she's a beautiful face.
As you can see, she's called Spotty from the one little spot on her nose. Other than that, she's all white. And she's a beautiful little girl.
She is. She's lucky, and they do a nice job at this shelter, this rescue.
They do. Yep, they do very much. Yes.
Well, Linda, if people want to get in touch with Best Friends, how do they do that?
You can go to our website at www.bestfriends.org. And there's lots of information there, and that's actually a great source to go to if you own an animal and you have any questions that come up about behavior or medical issues. We have a great resource library, a lot of information from our trainers and our animal caregivers to help people out.
And it's great that it's been around for a long time. It's a national organization, and you guys do a great job.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, we honestly couldn't do it without the support of our members and with all of our volunteers, because our volunteers are just terrific.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to Purr and tell a show about cats, about Best Friends.
You're very welcome. Thank you.